But you could change the show for a special occasion like this.
Of course.
Hi there, and welcome to episode 200 of Baseball by Design. I am SportsLogos.net minor league baseball correspondent Paul Caputo, broadcasting, as usual, from the Sunday Helmet Hall of Fame in my basement in Fort Collins, Colorado.
And I am Dan Simon, broadcasting from my WP era building that is currently getting tuck pointed in Louisville, Kentucky. And that's what I'm doing.
Well, there's vacuuming going on in my house right now, Dan. So we have prime conditions for episode 200. Hey, congratulations to us. Dan, I can honestly say that I would not have made it all the way to 200 episodes without your support, your help, and your jumping on and recording these intro segments with me and coming every single week for at least, it's been probably 120, 130 episodes of Studio Simon Stumpers. So, Dan, we would not be here for episode 200 without you. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome. But once again, that's a bit of a hyperbolic statement. You would have been doing this because you are passionate about what you do. You are driven to do this. But I'm happy to have been part of it. And by the way, I kind of keep a rough estimate of where we're at with regard to Stumpers. I have this 200th episode as my 139th Stumper.
Wow. Okay. That is very impressive. So, well more than half, 2/3 roughly of all of our episodes. And then before you started doing the Stumpers, Dan, you were a regular guest. You have been a guest as the featured designer for episodes dating all the way back to one of our very earliest episodes, one of my all-time favorites, the Toledo Mud Hens, when we talked with Jamie Farr. That was certainly a fun one. Obviously, we've added Ranger Amy to the mix as our regular wildlife correspondent, and we've met so many cool people along the way. You and I have gotten to do some great road trips with Anna DiTomaso and Ranger Amy, and it's just been such a joy, all of this, meeting people along the way, talking about minor league baseball and learning about America and even Canada. We featured a number of Canadian teams too. So what a joy this has all been.
It has been. And please know that I would have been listening to this podcast even if I wasn't on it. This content, well, it's what I do for a living, not content, but minor league baseball brand identity development. I do other stuff as well, but the majority of what I do is what you talk about. So, and I've said it before, you're an excellent host, and I've listened to you as a guest on other podcasts. You're an excellent guest as well. You're a good talker, basically.
I was once told that the worst thing a designer could be is a good talker, and I don't think that was meant to be a compliment. So thank you, Dan, for those kind words. Speaking of other podcasts, congratulations to you for your appearance on the Tim Kurkjian, Jeff Kurkjian podcast, Is This a Great Game or What? If listeners of this podcast know that podcast, go check out the episode Missed It by That Much, featuring Dan Simon with a very cool tidbit there. So I don't want to give too much of that away.
Whether you listen to the episode I was on or not, if you are a baseball fan, Major League Baseball, you got to listen to that podcast. It is one of the best baseball podcasts ever. Go listen to it.
Go listen. Dan, here's what we have in line for episode 200. I put the call out a couple weeks ago on this podcast and on social media, and I asked listeners of this podcast to send me, I was very clear about this, an audio file about a minor league baseball logo that they love. I was very careful not to say your favorite minor league baseball logo because I often get asked what's my favorite, and it's impossible to say. It depends on the moment, it depends on the context. So I wasn't going to ask other people that, but I wanted to share in the joy that folks have around the world of minor league baseball. And so what we have, Dan, is we have 20 people who got back to us and sent us something about a minor league baseball logo that they love. And let's get into it, Dan. Let's hear what the Baseball by Design community out there loves. And we're going to start with a familiar voice, host of the Baseball Bucket List podcast, Anna DiTomaso, our friend. Anna, called in with her favorite here. So let's listen to Anna.
Hi, Paul. It's your friend Anna DiTomaso from the Baseball Bucket List, and I wanted to take a moment to explain why the Kannapolis Cannonballers logo is one of my absolute favorite minor league logos and identities. As you know, it was created by our friend Dan Simon, and while there are so many things to love about it design-wise, I think the reason it resonates with me most is because of the story of how it came to be. Now, I won't simply repeat your episode on the brand, but for those who have not heard it, I would highly encourage you to go find it. I have to assume it had to have been one of the most intimidating sports rebrands of all time. And yet Dan and the Cannonballers found a way to honor the past and launch themselves into the future, if you see what I did there. In fact, the logo was so captivating that my dad, who's not a big souvenir guy, actually bought me a hat the first time he attended a game at Atrium Health Park and shipped it all the way to Texas. It's become one of my favorite hats. I actually got to wear it when I went to see a game in Kannapolis, and that just makes me love the logo even more. And I have to add, I've even seen multiple Little League teams call themselves the Cannonballers, which is a trend that I fully support and hope to see more of. Thanks, Paul. Keep spreading the best parts of baseball.
Dan, I promised that wasn't a setup, that we were going to start with one of yours being a community favorite here. But yeah, Anna's right. That's the Kannapolis Cannonballers. That's a great one.
Yeah, well, it sure seems like it was a setup, but regardless, you prefaced this whole episode by saying that you weren't asking people for what their favorite was, just one that they really like. And I echo what you said, which is I people ask me, what's the favorite of all the brand identities you've developed, and I really, really honestly can't say, but I can say that the story behind the Kannapolis Cannonballers identity development is my favorite story. And again, if you want to hear it, you go to whatever.
Episode 33 in July of 2022, Dan. So, all right. Thanks, Anna. Here is Ben Beaupre.
My name is Ben Beaupre, and a minor league logo I love is that of the St. Paul Saints. I'm a bit biased, having rooted for the Saints for 3 decades. It's a clean, straightforward logo, and I acknowledge that by today's minor league standards, it is nothing creative nor wacky. Yet, I love it because when I see it, it's more than a design. It brings memories of countless players, hysterical promotions, dramatic wins, championships, a broadcaster's voice narrating the summer evening on the backyard radio, road trips, community with otherwise strangers at the ballpark, conversations with dear friends in the beer line, and most notably to me, learning about the game from my dad as a child, and now watching my own child fall in love with the very same game and atmosphere of minor league baseball. A lifetime of memories, all sported with that classic STP logo on my cap. To me, the logos we love are often not about just the design itself, but a reminder of all the reasons we love the game of baseball.
That's a great point by Ben, right? Like it's a logo he loves because of his nostalgic connection to it. So I like that.
Well, and speaking of a connection to it, before there was Studio Simon, there was something called Insignia Sports Design. Insignia Sports Design was my partnership with one of my best friends ever, Peter Thornburg. And that St. Paul Saints STP cap logo was done through our Insignia Sports Design. But that logo was done not by me, but by Peter Thornburg, who unfortunately I have lost him. But when I say lost him, I'm sorry, he passed away. Shout out to Peter Thornburg for because that logo was done over 30 years ago, and to this day, it still looks as good today as it did back then. Love you, Peter.
Oh, all right. Here's Amy Lambeth.
Hey, Paul, this is Amy from Atlanta, Georgia. You really put us to task only letting us pick one. But off the top of my head, one of my favorite logos is for the Binghamton Rumble Ponies up in New York State. I was a big carousel kid when I was little. See a carousel, had to ride it at least 2 times. We ran out of quarters or ran out of daylight, wouldn't stop until I had my fix. And then as an adult, seeing a baseball team that was based off of an old love of mine, and one that just looks absolutely metal. I had to get a hat. This is the first hat that I have that is from a team that I've not personally visited because me and my husband do try and go see a bunch of minor league teams, but it is on my bucket list to go up and see a Rumble Ponies game sometime in the future. Thanks for all your work on Baseball by Design.
That's a cool one, Paul. Not only does she need to see a game there, but she needs to, if she's a big fan of carousel, she needs to go to Binghamton. I believe they've got 7 of them there.
Something like that. It's like 6 or 7, and you can go do a whole tour. Yeah.
They call it the city of Carousel City or whatever. A lot of cities will be called something city, but boy, if you're gonna, when you've got 7 carousels, you deserve to be Carousel City.
Yeah, I never thought I would learn about the carousel capital of the world, but hey, episode 53, Dan, go check it out. All right, here is Brian. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Maybe he'll say it for us here.
Hi, Paul. My name is Brian Ersch, and I live in Western Michigan. My favorite minor league baseball logo is the West Michigan Whitecaps, my local team. I love it mainly because it's a fun, colorful, character-driven logo, which works well with the team name and the region it represents. But mostly I love it because I designed it. Working with Lori Ashcroft, the Whitecaps merchandise manager, it was designed in 2002, and they still use it today, so I'm pretty proud of that.
Well, there you go. Dan, I can honestly say I have not listened to all of these all the way through, and how cool to hear from Brian Ersch on that, on a logo he created. So that's very cool.
Yeah, it's neat hearing from him. Thank you,
Yeah.
Brian.
And it's a terrific logo. We went there on Baseball Palooza, and the guys loved it. It was fun. One of the guys is not as into minor league baseball logos and branding as we are. He loves the logos. He loves going to the ballparks, but he's not super, into the whole stories. And he said to me the other day, he said, I really like that Grand Rapids Waves team that we saw. All right, here's Christina Robinson. I know how to pronounce her name. Christina Robinson.
Hi, this is Christina from the Minor League Nerd. One logo that I really, really love is the Copa logo from the Tri-City Valley Cats. They're currently in the Frontier League. They were formerly in the New York Penn League. So their logo is Los Puentes de Tri-City, which is, the image is a bridge over the Hudson River. And I am a long-term bridge nerd, so I really love that logo, especially because the towers of the bridge are baseball bats. And the colors are electric blue and lime green, which are totally my color palette.
Christina is great. Christina and I share an affinity for a lot of different things, and a lot of our pop culture things. We're always finding that, like, oh, you watch this show, you watch this movie. I did not know until listening to this just now that Christina and I shared an affinity for bridges. I love bridges, Dan. And in my recent trip to Cincinnati, running across a couple of bridges between Ohio and Kentucky was one of my great joys of that trip.
Just out of curiosity, in the same way that you didn't ask for everyone's favorite minor league baseball logo, I won't ask for your favorite, but is there a bridge or two that stick out to you as ones that are particularly memorable for you?
I really like the yellow bridge in Sacramento. That's a fun one. One of my early bridge experiences was the Roman aqueduct, the Pont du Gard in France. And that was a very cool, like an ancient Roman aqueduct. And then I just recently had an experience with the Brooklyn Bridge. And the Brooklyn Bridge is everything it's cracked up to be. It's really beautiful.
And even though I grew up in New York, I've never been to the Brooklyn Bridge. I've not been to a Brooklyn Cyclones game. I need to right those two wrongs as soon as possible.
The Brooklyn Cyclones, along with your Daytona Tortugas and the Portland Sea Dogs, those are like the 3 logos that I sort of put on a rotation when people ask me my favorite. So I would have had to pick one of those 3 if I were doing this exercise myself. Dan, here's Donnie Wise.
Hey, Paul, this is Donnie. One of my all-time favorite logos has to be the Capital City Bombers. This logo was created in 1993 to move away from the parent club name, Columbia Mets, and give our team its own identity. It also has a tie to the history of the area, as it honors the Doolittle Raiders, the B-25 bombing crews that were formed here at Columbia Airfield in 1942, and also featured 2 members of that crew that were from South Carolina. One was a Citadel graduate, one was a graduate of the University of South Carolina. And so that history ties into the logo, ties into the C with the B-25 bomber, and just really is a classic, one of the original classic logos that gave teams their original identities and moved away from affiliated naming. It fit with the military background that Columbia has here as well, and is just a piece of history that many people may not know about the Columbia, South Carolina area. I remember them fishing out a B-25 bomber from Lake Murray many years ago, getting it restored, and they've created a museum here to honor the Doolittle Raiders as well. And there's still, to this day, even though the Bombers have moved on, ties to that name and that team. So that has to be one of my all-time favorite logos and will always remain one of my favorite logos. So thanks for including me, and I look forward to hearing the stories of all the other people and their favorite logos.
There you go. History. I love the historical logos, the ones that have those foundations.
Yeah, and I also love that Donnie there pulled out one from the past. Obviously, there are no Capital City Bombers anymore, but that was actually one of the logos that I remember really resonated with me, and frankly, one of the it contributed to me wanting to do minor league baseball logos, which ultimately happened.
Very cool. It certainly did, Dan. Do you have a count of how many teams you've done logos for?
No, I used to count, but
right.
It's well over 100.
Here is my Curve Brim Media co-founder and host of the Dad Hat Chronicles, Ed Rivera. Also my go-to when it comes to correcting my pronunciation on anything Spanish language.
Hello, you beautiful people. This is Ed Rivera of the DHC Sports. I'm coming to you live from my office, letting you know that my favorite logo of all time is actually the Brevard County Manatees. That's right. It was in existence from 1994 to 2016. And the reason why I love this one is just because it's such an iconic logo, the manatee itself, which is, by the way, if you didn't know this, they're known as the Duggies of the water. That's right. Don't Google that.
I don't know what that means.
Just believe me. Anywho, I wanted you to know that this is a great logo. It is my favorite logo of all time, and I wish it comes back, even if it's an alternate identity with some form of a team somewhere in Florida. That's right, Florida. I'm looking at you. Please come back and give us this wonderful, iconic logo. Also, make sure to follow me on all of your socials and on YouTube. All right. Well, congratulations, Paul, on your 200 episode. That's pretty cool. You're old. I gotta go.
It was very kind of Ed to invite people to follow him on social media to commemorate the occasion of this 200th episode of ours. By the way, Ed is always correcting my pronunciation of Spanish language words, so I don't feel bad correcting him on Brevard County, not Brevard County, Brevard County Manatees, but a great one and another gone by erstwhile logo from the past. So that's I agree, though. I enjoy that one. I had another Curve Brim Media voice here, Eric Profit from the Earned Fun Average podcast. Let's see what Eric has to say.
Hello, Mr. Caputo. It's your favorite Kansan, the influencer Eric Profit. Wanted to say congratulations on 200 episodes. Quite the accomplishment.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed listening to all the episodes and loved being able to join you as a guest a couple times on the podcast. So keep up the great work. You know, for me, I wasn't huge into minor league baseball until like the last 5 years or so, and I could have you to thank for that. Searched out for trying to see, you know, where can I find more of these ice cream helmets after I came across a New Orleans Baby Cakes helmet. And obviously typed ice cream helmets in on Google, and oh, look who it was. It was Paul Caputo, and kind of got started there. And then now I've been able to learn so much from your book that you wrote, listening to your podcast and all your 200 episodes. And then you've been a great help in helping Johnny and I do our, start up our podcast. So just really enjoyed learning so much about minor league baseball. And now I get to travel here over the last 4 or 5 years, going all over the states to the minor league and major league, summer collegiate stadiums, anything like that. But for me, I'd have to say, my favorite logo would probably be the Wichita Wranglers. Obviously, being here locally, we had the AA of the Kansas City Royals, The Wichita Wranglers were here from 1987 until 2007. They played at historic Lawrence Dumont Stadium. With the Wichita Wranglers, they have a couple different logos, but one is a W with the Wranglers and Wichita underneath it, and then there's a horse and then a cowboy kind of lassoing a little bit. They use a classic W with a guy that almost looks like, to me, the old Neighborhood Watch guy. He's got a big cowboy hat on, but had some pretty cool logos for the Wranglers, but also the colors. So they did red and black there for a while, but then they also had some purple and teal. And so unfortunately, they left Wichita 2007, went to Springdale to become the Northwest Arkansas Naturals, but really enjoyed my time getting to watch them growing up, and I even got to work for them for a couple seasons a few years before they left. So I will always remember them, and glad to see anytime like the Wichita Wind Surge now, or when the Wingnuts did it when they were here, bringing back and doing kind of a throwback to the Wichita Wranglers. It's always fun to see those, and just really enjoy that logo so much. And I just wanted to again just say congratulations. It's been an awesome 200 episodes, and just continue to keep it up.
Well, what kind sentiments from Eric, and 3 in a row that are erstwhile gone by logos. I saw you nodding when he brought up the Wranglers, and you were nodding along with him.
Yeah, just obviously not just as somebody who does this for a living, that is developing minor league baseball brand identities, but I'm just a fan of it. And so hearing these, as you mentioned, 3 in a row of caps from yesteryear, it just brings back memories. And like, I'm nodding because I'm just picturing that, those, the Wichita Wranglers caps and those colors. And it's been a part of my past and obviously part of my present. And it's neat hearing about ones that are now no longer being used.
Speaking of the earned fun average, next up is Johnny Bolin, who is Eric's partner in crime on that podcast. And Johnny was with us, Dan, at the and so was Donnie Wise earlier in this episode. They were both with us at the Savannah Bananas game that we went to in Birmingham, Alabama, at Rickwood Field.
Yep,
So,
it was neat getting to meet those, well, everyone that we met, but those 2 Curve Brim Media gentlemen.
yeah, we had a nice gang there. All right, here's Johnny.
Happy 200th episode, Mr. Caputo. This is Johnny Bolin from the Earned Fun Average podcast. I have to say my favorite minor league logo, total biased, is a resident of the great state of Mississippi. I have to go those Biloxi Shuckers, and with the logo, of course it is tattooed on my left arm since 2016. The Shuckers logo, the angry oyster with the little beach hat, holding a bat and fist ready to battle. If we're speaking of collegiate woodbat baseball, as super fan, there is only one answer, and that is the late Charles Gumbo Gators. Again, Paul, congratulations on this milestone. Always enjoy your podcast and your work, and hope for another 200 episodes. Grace and peace.
Johnny is one of the first people ever who just started sending me stuff randomly in the mail. He was just like, before we had even met, he was just one of these guys who was just like, I found this thing. I thought you would like it. I'm sending it to you. That to me is the epitome of generosity, because not only do you, spend money, it's time and energy and thought to actually do something like that. So 2 current logos. He went with 2 on us there, the Shuckers and the Gumbo Gators. But those are good ones from Johnny.
I have been lucky enough to receive things from people I've never met, but they've met me through this podcast. And so a shout out to Michael Ritz. He's sent me some New York Yankee baseball cards. And actually, I'm actually looking at, I've got something from him right here in front of me. He also sent me a postcard of the Brooklyn Bridge, which we were just talking about.
Too funny.
These are the great things that happen through this podcast specifically, and baseball in general.
It is a fantastic community, that's for sure. Dan here is a familiar voice to everyone in the minor league baseball community. Eric, the Peanut Guy Mertens. This is a lot of suspense. I wonder who Eric went with as his favorite minor league baseball logo.
Paul Caputo, baseball by design. Hello, it's Eric the Peanut Guy from the Tri-City Dust Devils, calling in live from Gisa Stadium in beautiful, sunny Tri-Cities, Washington. Congratulations on 200th episode. This is so awesome. I've said it before. I'll say it again. This is my favorite podcast out there because I could listen to people talk about minor league logos all day. And I love talking about minor league logos all day. To no one's surprise, my favorite logo is this team. You might have heard of it, called the Tri-City Dust Devils. I know, no one's surprised. I'm biased. I'm very biased. But it's been around for 25 years now. It is iconic. It's distinctive. It's been around so long. Some people might even call it vintage. But I remember when it was first announced in our local paper, the Tri-City Herald, back in 2001, and the Portland Rockies had moved to the Tri-Cities. They used to be the Bend Rockies before that, and so some people thought they were just going to call them the Tri-Cities Rockies, which if you've been to the Tri-Cities, you'll know we don't have any Rocky Mountains around here. We have some foothills of the Cascades, but that's it. And so the fact that they named the team something unique and hyper-local, we're in the desert. We do get lots of dust devils in this area. In fact, we have what might be one of the most appropriately named minor league team where the nickname or the mascot occurs on the field during gameplay multiple times. We have literal dust devils run through the outfield and infield throughout the season. The colors represent the colors of our region, and it's just really fun. So that's my favorite logo, to no one's surprise. Thank you for having me, Colin. I also really love the Asheville Tourist logo. Okay, bye.
Oh, he snuck another one in there at the last second. That was uncharacteristically sneaky for Eric Mertens right there. But yeah, one of minor league baseball's great ambassadors and one of my favorite people, as are so many on this list that we have who sent things in. But Eric is great. Gisa Stadium is great. And the Tri-City Dust Devils are a fantastic minor league baseball experience.
And it's kind of cool. If you go to a game, you can experience an actual, Dust Devil on the field playing and Dust Devil on the field being actual Dust Devils too. Have you ever seen a Dust Devil with your own eyes?
Yes, I have seen a Dust Devil, but did not see any when we were I've been to a couple of Dust Devil games and did not see any at the actual ballpark. All right, Dan, here is John Eubanks who sent one in. John, thanks so much. Appreciate this.
Hello, Paul. My name is John Eubanks. My favorite minor league logo would have to be the Durham Bulls, due to the fact that I was born in Durham. Another reason is because of the movie Bull Durham. I remember watching that movie in the theater when it first came out with my mother. It was cool to hear her share she visited the stadium when she was a small child and a young lady. Today, as I now reside in Tennessee, I am very fond of the Chattanooga Lookouts. It was my first minor league ballpark to see along with my girlfriend on a vacation before we actually moved to Tennessee. So thank you, Paul, and thank you for everything that you do with Baseball by Design.
First of all, those pipes. John Eubanks is, I think he's coming for our job here with those podcaster pipes. But what a kind message. He's been a great supporter of the podcast over the years and is always sending me kind messages. So the Durham Bulls, a classic.
And the Chattanooga Lookouts, as he mentioned, you use the word classic. Those are classic classics.
Yes. Yep. Those are hard to argue with those. Although we're not really arguing with any of these, are we? People are bringing what they're bringing, and I'm enjoying all of it here. All right. Here's Carrie Klismet, who this is a person who I met through the podcast, and we actually got to take in one of the very last Northern Colorado Owls with a Z games that ever happened earlier this year. So here is Carrie.
Hey, Paul. This is Carrie Klismet from Denver, Colorado. My favorite minor league logo might be something of an odd choice because it comes from a team that I never saw play, in a state I've never lived, but that I nonetheless have an odd connection to. It's the Butte Copper Kings, who played in the Pioneer League from 1978 to 2000. Several years ago, a friend of mine who grew up in Montana gave me a Copper Kings cap that he brought back from a trip to his home state. He knew I was a baseball fan and figured I'd be the one friend who would appreciate it. And he was right. It became one of the crown jewels of my hat collection, traveling with me through several moves. I finally got to share it with the world more broadly about 4 years ago when another friend, who was the curator at the National Mining Hall of Fame and Museum in Leadville, Colorado, borrowed it for an exhibit on baseball and mining towns. Beyond the personal connection, I've always loved the logo because it harkens back to a time in baseball logo design when things seemed more organic and less focus group tested. The team was named after Montana's historic copper mining industry, and the logo featured a grinning, bearded king with a copper-colored crown swinging an oversized bat behind his head. It would probably never get approved today, but the Copper Kings used it for the better part of 20 years. Caps featuring it can fetch a pretty penny on the collector's market nowadays, so I consider myself lucky to have one.
Butte Copper Kings, that's a cool one. I wouldn't have predicted that. That wasn't on my bingo card for this episode, but that's a cool, fun old logo.
Yeah, I'm getting a kick out of hearing some of these brought back from the past.
Yeah, it's interesting to me how many of them, and I even had people ask me when I put this call out, do they have to be current teams? And it's like, no, absolutely not. Like, you do you. It's whatever floats your boat.
One of the things that I've talked to you about is if there might ever come a time when you run out of teams to do, but it's an interesting idea to do episodes on logos from the past.
Yeah. I've had that thought, the 51s, the manatees, that would be a fun one to do. I mean, there's a ton of them out there, of course. And I'm enjoying hearing, all of these old ones, like, say, Carrie Klismet's Butte Copper Kings. All right, here is Kelly Robinson, also of the Minor League Nerd.
Hey, everyone. It's Kelly from the Minor League Nerd. Even though Paul didn't ask us to pick our favorite minor league logo, picking just one that I like was still a difficult choice. But I was able to narrow it down to the Beloit Snappers. I mean, the blue, green, and white colors were fantastic. And who didn't love Snappy? I always considered the Snappers to be one of my local MILB teams, along with the Kane County Cougars, until they were dropped from affiliated ball. I understand why the Snappers were rebranded and do like the new marks, but I have to say I do miss the Snappers and everyone's favorite little turtle, Snappy. Congrats on 200 episodes, Paul.
Another defunct team. This is an interesting case study, Dan. I think the secret for you professionally now is to design logos for teams that don't exist.
I'm sorry, Paul. I'm not even sure what you mean by that.
I haven't even finished my coffee yet, Dan. So, Dan, here is minor league baseball stalwart Lynn Smith, who every time I look up on social media, she has had a different ball game. I've gotten to meet Lynn a couple of times, so and she's come on the Curb Rim Media meetups with us. So here is Lynn.
Hi, Paul. This is Lynn Smith from Iowa. I just wanted to let you know a little bit about my favorite baseball logo, coming now from the Prospect League, but originally in the 2010 season when they were founded, a member of the Frontier League. The Normal Corn Belters of Normal, Illinois have probably my favorite logo of any sport, anywhere, anytime. It's an ear of corn, typical for what you'd find in the Midwest, with the most amazing eyes that are so laid back and chill, a little fun, kind of like Bill the Cat, and the fun little silks coming off the top of his head. The team colors of green, gold, black, and white definitely fit in with the Midwest and the corn of the Corn Belt, thus the name Corn Belters of Normal, Illinois. Their alternate logo has the same ear of corn with its silks and tassels, and it's leaning on a bat, and that's their cap insignia, and that's also fun. When I went to my first game there in 2010 in their inaugural season, I was so taken by the logo, I bought a hat, 2 t-shirts, and a jersey, and a pen, and just about anything else I could find and shove in a bag. It was great fun, and I still love this logo, and I've also been told from executives of the Cedar Rapids Kernels that the designer asked permission to mimic a corn logo for the design of the Normal Corn Belter. So hopefully you can track down that fellow that created this logo and bring him on the show, or bring her on the show. And anyway, congratulations on your anniversary, and keep on doing what you do. Thanks a lot, and go Corn Belters.
Well, so there you go, Dan. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. It sounds like the Corn Belters asked permission to use your Cedar Rapids Kernels as inspiration. So that's pretty funny. That Cedar Rapids Kernels logo of yours too is just another of my absolute favorites. So,
well, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. That was on my bucket list of brands to do. Now, in this case, redo, because they already had an existing logo, but I had this picture in my head of what I would do with it. And one year at the baseball winter meetings, they came up to me at my booth in the trade show and asked me to do it. And it was like, yes.
we detailed that story, Dan, on a previous episode of Baseball by Design. That was episode 120.
Now you need to get the guy or woman who did the normal corn belters.
Normal corn belters, who in my mind really do look like Bill the Cat from Bloom County, by the way.
Yes.
So here is Mike Sellers of the Up to Chat podcast. These these punny podcasts.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Sellers, host of the Up to Chat podcast. Paul, congratulations on your 200th episode. Yours is one of my favorite podcasts in the entire podcasting world. Keep up the great work.
Thanks,
and
Mike.
thank you for giving me the opportunity to discuss what is not only my favorite minor league baseball logo of all time, but in my humble opinion, the greatest sports logo branding in the history of sports. I am, of course, talking about the Rome Emperors. I've always been fascinated with the Roman imagery in general, and ever since I was a kid, the penguin has always been my second favorite animal behind only dogs. So naturally, this was a match made in heaven for me right from the start. I think the name itself is perfect, as it is very original from other sports nicknames, but yet doesn't go over the top wacky. Using the penguin as the main part of the logo gives it the perfect balance of seriousness / tough, but fun as well. There are a handful of different logos in this suite, and each one is better than the last. In no particular order, the pontificating penguin and swinging penguin, those logos are fantastic, using an emperor penguin as a Roman emperor and baseballizing it as well with the baseball bat and baseball button on his sash. The primary logo that uses Roman columns and absolutely perfect matching font for everything, as far as like it fits in with the Roman branding so well, with small details like the meander or Greek key patterns that form a GA for the state of Georgia while looking like absolutely perfect Roman meander patterns, and the Roman numerals for the year 2003, which of course is the franchise's inaugural season. All that is absolute money. They also have a couple of roundel logos that look like Roman coins and make me want to collect some Roman coins. And finally, I'm always intrigued by how teams do their letter logos, as far as having a single letter logo for their caps, etc. In this case, an R for Rome. And in line with everything else in this logo set, Dan Simon nailed it to perfection, making an R out of Roman columns. And with all of these fantastic logos, the finishing touch is using a color scheme of gold, red, and black, which feels like a great blend of Roman colors, Atlanta Braves colors, which is, of course, is their affiliate, and the state of Georgia colors in general, like the Falcons, the Georgia Bulldogs, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Well done, Dan Simon of Studio Simon. Well done.
There you go, Dan. Greatest logo history of sports.
Wow. I am humbled and appreciative. Thank you for those amazingly kind words. One thing I could say about that brand identity, you talk about something not being on your bingo card. Pontificating was not something on my bingo card of things I think I would ever have been tasked with bringing to life in a logo.
Well, it did come to life with that penguin character, and you've always given credit where it is due in that logo to the penguin.
Yeah, people have spoken very kindly about it, but it's who does not like a penguin?
Who doesn't like a penguin?
Yeah.
All right, Dan, this is Mark Viquez of the Ballpark Hunter podcast. Mark has always been very kind about spreading the word about Baseball by Design. Sometimes Mark calls our Baseball by Design, he calls it baseball with a smile, and that actually makes me smile. Here is Mark Viquez.
Hi, this is Mark, the Ballpark Hunter, and my favorite logo has to be Strike. He is a secondary mark for the Trenton Thunder baseball team, previously AA affiliates of the New York Yankees, now an MLB draft league, so I hope this counts. But what I like about Strike is that it's just a simple design, and I think if this was created for another team, he might be the primary mark. But when the Trenton Thunder redesigned sometime in 2007, they came up with a primary logo and a secondary logo, and Strike was the secondary mark. And unfortunately, the last several years, Strike has not just been promoted to the big leagues as the primary mark that's held for Cloudman. And then even the mascot is Boomer, which is a Thunderbird. Strike is also kind of regarded as a secondary mascot for the team. But that logo is awesome. I love the Studio Simon-esque, well, it is a Studio Simon design. I just love how it looks. It's a perfect baseball logo. I mean, it's simple. It tells its story, and it doesn't try to be anything. It's just a nice, sharp edge, friendly, mischievous looking lightning bolt. And I wish I could buy this on more caps or shirts. I wish this logo was on jerseys or other paraphernalia at the ballpark. It's just my favorite, and I don't know why it doesn't get pushed up to a primary mark. And most folks that I see that have Trenton Thunder merchandise, which is not a lot because I don't live anywhere near Trenton, New Jersey anymore, features something else. But Strike, I think if you were the main guy, everybody be rocking the Thunderbolts. So much love for me, and thanks for hearing me rant for a few moments.
There you go. You had the best logo in the history of sports, and now the perfect baseball logo.
Interestingly, even though I did that logo, it was not until just now that I realized that he was named Strike. That's news to me, but I think it's kind of neat not having one of my logos talked about, but that somebody's favorite logo is a secondary logo. That's great when even secondary logos get love like that.
Well, Mark is a knowledgeable minor league baseball logo fan, and I know he's created some of his own as well. I've seen him post those on social media as well. So thank you, Mark. Here is Matt Polanski. Dan, we're getting down to it.
Hey, Paul and Dan, this is Matt Polanski from Pittsburgh, and my favorite minor league baseball logo is the West Virginia Black Bears. Now, the Black Bears have 3 different logos. The first one is the primary logo, where it's a black and yellow circle with the word West Virginia in it, the word Black Bears beneath the circle, and then in the center of the circle is a black bear with a mountain range behind it, and over this mountain range is a baseball either depicting a moon or sun. Most people think it's a moon because it kind of looks like a nighttime setting. The second logo is just the right silhouette of the black bear head, and the third logo, which is the one I'm bringing to you guys' attention today, is the state outline logo, where it depicts the state outline of West Virginia with the black bear mountain and baseball moon inside the state of West Virginia. The reason why this is my favorite is it's geographically incorrect in that the state of West Virginia is pitched about 3 to 4 degrees to the left, and there are numerous state outline problems with this logo. The most egregious is in the northern panhandle, where it'd be between Pennsylvania and Ohio. There's this little thumb appendage looking thing that's not on the state outline of West Virginia. And that's technically part of Ohio. So yeah, that's my favorite minor league baseball logo. I just want to thank you guys for 200 episodes. I can't wait for 200 more and everything else you guys have coming. I always look forward to your episodes. So keep doing what you're doing. Sending much love and positivity. Philadelphia sucks.
Whoa.
Mayonnaise over Philly cheesesteaks.
Whoa, maybe I should have screened these beforehand, Dan.
But what I loved about this is the whole thing about state silhouettes. There's a line in the Bob Seger song Against the Wind where he says what to leave in, what to leave out. And I have done state silhouettes numerous times for brand identities I've created, and deciding what to leave in, what to leave out is really difficult. Now, in this case, he was saying that there's something included that's not even part of the state. But I worry that when I'm simplifying things, taking artistic license, that I'm leaving out something really important. Like if some of the state silhouettes are based on, edges of it are a river. So it's not a straight line. Right. And they're really jaggedy, and you can, in simplifying those, you can leave out like this could be a little peninsula or something that somebody lives on or grew up in, and then you leave it out, and that could ruffle some feathers, and so I get what he's talking about with the state silhouette details.
We don't have a lot of state silhouette logos in Colorado, where we are just a rectangle. Hey, here is Pat Larson of the Minor League Baseball Hat History Series, another Curve Brim Media guy.
Hey, Paul. First of all, I wanted to congratulate you on 200 episodes of the Baseball by Design podcast. You've done some amazing work over those 200 episodes, and you should be very, very proud of yourself because you've brought a lot of enjoyment to a lot of baseball fans.
Thank you.
And fans of logos and people who are maybe just being introduced to this world for the first time. My favorite minor league logo is the Rocky Mountain Vibes. I remember when this was released in 2019, the first thing that I was attracted to was obviously the logo of Toasty, their mascot. How can you not love an anthropomorphic s'more? A marshmallow in between two graham crackers and putting up a peace sign. He is the coolest dude out there, and he's one of my favorite minor league mascots of all time. And then obviously another one of the hat logos, because as you know, I'm very much into hats, was the CS logo showing the marshmallow that's been bitten into and then the flame made out of the S. And then there's also the marshmallow on a stick that shows the C from the Colorado state flag. And as you and I both know, the state of Colorado is very proud of its state flag. And to me, this whole logo suite just brings out the magic of minor league baseball. Is it a little out there? Of course, but those are my favorite kinds of logos. I like those ones that make me think. And I think that this is a great suite of logos. Even the wordmark logo that shows the Vibes wordmark written out in the campfire. I think it's a really, really cool vibe, pun intended. And I think it's just a great example of the magic of minor league baseball, as I said. So that's my favorite, and congratulations again on 200 episodes, and I can't wait for 200 more and beyond. Congratulations, my friend.
First of all, Pat, he's always got a kind word for everybody. He's the best. This Vibes logo, one of my favorite things about it, it's right down the street from us in Colorado Springs, a couple hours away. The story of how they were going to be the Rocky Mountain Happy Campers, and minor league baseball stepped in and said, you can't be the Happy Campers because there's a marijuana dispensary with that name. You got to be something different. And they had to really scramble because they had all the marks made up. That was a grandiose one. They had all the marks made up, and they had to come up with a different name that suited this, all the Happy Campers marks that they had. So that Vibes was a quick change operation that they did.
I consider the Rocky Mountain Vibes to be Brandiose's magnum opus.
Yeah, they Opus, another character from Bloom County. Got Bill the Cat and Opus now. Yeah, it's terrific, and I have the hat, I have the T-shirt, and I like going to a Vibes game when I can make it work. Dan, when I plan Baseball Palooza, Baseball Mapper is my go-to source. Patrick Newt is one of the two partners from Baseball Mapper, and he sent an entry into this conversation.
Hey, Paul. It's Patrick from Baseball Mapper. Checking in today for your 200th episode. It's an honor to be a part of it. Congratulations on the accomplishment. I know there's a lot more to come. There's always more great logos to talk about, and that's what we're talking about today. My favorite minor league logo. As you know, there's way too many to choose, but if I had to choose one from 2025, the Erie Moon Mammoths. Now, this logo came to us courtesy of John Oliver, and last week tonight, host, great comedian, lover of minor league baseball, as we find out. This logo was a huge success from the start. Once it was released and he announced it on his show, so much to love about it. I know you do too, Paul. It hits on all the important pieces, right? It includes elements that are important to the community. You have a local hero, George Moon, who discovered the mammoth fossil at the bottom of a lake, and the John Oliver team helped identify this little piece of Erie, Pennsylvania history. It wound up being something worth making into an alternate identity. And so it's a pretty special story. the logo is even more perfect. And as somebody who got to be there for the inaugural run of the Erie Moon Mammoths this summer in July, I can attest it was super popular. There were lines all game long on the concourse for people to buy this merchandise. How can you not love the colors, the mammoth with the astronaut helmet? It's just so much fun. And long live Fuzzy Mammoth. Again, Paul, congratulations. Glad to be a little part of it. Take care, and I'll be talking to you soon.
I have to say that Patrick went to that game, posted a picture of an ice cream helmet, a Moon Mammoth's ice cream helmet, and just sort of hinted, he's like, I got you, Paul, don't worry about it. And he ended up sending it to me. Turns out it was the only one they got. He got it for his young son at the ball game, but they also got his son some other things. And so his son was just like, yeah, if there's a full-grown man who would like this plastic garbage toy more than I would like it, you should send it to him. And he did. And it is one of the prized elements of the Sunday helmet collection out there. So thank you to Patrick and to your son for giving up that helmet. And holy smokes, am I jealous that he got to go to that Moon Mammoth's debut with John Oliver on hand. That would have been pretty amazing.
Yeah, that whole story is a great story.
Yeah.
And certainly the legend of the Moon Mammoth was aided by the fact that the person who found the bones was named Moon, because I don't think the Erie Simon Mammoths would has quite the ring to it that Moon Mammoth has.
I would buy an Erie Simon Mammoths sweatshirt, though, or a t-shirt, cap, Sunday helmet. All right, Dan, up next, we have another minor league baseball celebrity sending in a minor league baseball logo that they love. This is Val, the stadium food girl, and I am going to bet that this logo has something to do with food.
Hi, Paul. So I hear that this is your 200th episode. Congratulations. I actually want to highlight the Round Rock Express, specifically their alternate identity, the Round Rock Donuts. I grew up in Texas, and I'm a Texas Rangers fan, and so this is the AAA affiliate of the Texas Rangers, my favorite baseball team, and I love donuts, and I love the creativity that was behind that logo. I have a jersey, and it looks so insane. It's got the different the different donuts just plastered throughout the jersey. There is one donut, though, specifically that I love on within that design, and it is a donut with, instead in the middle of it is a star, which I'm assuming pays homage to the Lone Star State, and then the color of that donut is red, white, and blue, also paying tribute to the Texas flag color. So that logo and that alternate identity just all together is just so fun. On top of it being fun, it's so special to me. I could go on, and anytime you have another episode where you talk about fun identities, specifically the ones that incorporate food, hit me up. But yes, again, congrats on episode number 200, and I'm excited to hear these other logos that are being highlighted.
Ha! I was right. Great food-based logo from Val. Val, thank you so much for sending that in. Dan, we're down to the last one, and this is going to be a familiar name to everyone who listens to this podcast. It's Ranger Amy Burnett.
I know her.
Hey, this is Ranger Amy, wanting to congratulate Paul on his 200th episode. It's just incredible, really. I hope he does 200 more because I love, number one, listening to them in the car or on my runs or wherever. And I also like being a guest on them and talking to you all about animals, which is my favorite thing. But anyway, we're here to talk about favorite minor league baseball logos, and my favorite is the Trash Pandas. So the Rocket City Trash Pandas, because here you've got this cute little raccoon dude, and he's blasting out into space in a trash can, and it's just fun. And he's got this look on his face of determination, like, I'm going to do that. When I was a little kid, I once had one of those red flying saucers, and I went down a hill into a puddle because I thought I would skim across the water and it would be my new little water boat thing. And yeah, that didn't happen. I sunk and everyone laughed at me. I think I was 4. Anyway.
What a sad story.
Who doesn't love an underdog, right? Or in this case, an under raccoon who thinks he's going to the moon. And all he needs now is just like an awesome theme song, like Rocket City Trash Pandas. It could happen. Why
I
don't
thought
they
it was.
have
I
a
thought there
theme
was going to
song?
be more. Wow, what
I
a
think-
what a way to wrap it up. What were you gonna say?
I was going to say, I think old Ranger Amy needs to work a little bit more on the lyrics there.
We're still workshopping that a little bit, I guess. What a great variety of favorites or logos that folks love. Some people just couldn't help themselves. They were just like, this is my favorite, and I did choose one out of the thousands of logos that exist out there, past and present. Dan, thank you for being part of that journey and being part of this whole journey. But an episode of Baseball by Design is not complete without a Studio Simon Stumper. And I know that you have prepared something around the number 200, something around landmarks, something around something favorites. I don't know. So I'm gonna hand it back over to you. It's time for our Studio Simon Stumper.
Well, we'll use something you said as the segue because you talked about it being a journey, and our Studio Simon Stumper today is about journeys. You have been on many a baseball journey with your Baseball Palooza trips, the Anadana Palooza trips, your Curvebin Media meetups, and frankly, you seem to always be at a game. Now, I also want to credit the aforementioned Baseball Mapper.
Oh, yeah.
Because without Baseball Mapper, I guess I could have done the upcoming Studio Simon Stumper, but certainly made it easier with Baseball Mapper. So thank you, Baseball Mapper.
It's great. I use it all the time for Baseball Palooza.
Right. So a lot of your baseball road trips are indeed road trips. They involve driving.
Yeah.
But driving is not what this episode's about. This episode's about the number 200. So our Studio Simon Stumper today asks, which one of these three teams is closest to a 200-mile drive from your home in Fort Collins, Colorado? Is it A, the Rocky Mountain Vibes, B, the Casper Spuds, or C, the Grand Junction Jackalopes?
The erstwhile Grand Junction Jackalopes. They're moving to California.
Do we know yet what they're not going to be the Jackalopes, are they? Are they going to have a brand new identity?
I think they're going to have a brand new brand, as it were.
Okay, interested to see what they do.
So let's see. We're up here around exit 270. Colorado Springs, I want to say, is like around exit 1. I think Colorado Springs is going to be a lot less than 200 miles. Grand Junction, that's about a 5-hour drive from here, which is going to be that's going to be a lot more than 200 miles. Dan, I think it's going to be Casper. I think Casper, Wyoming, it's about a 3-hour drive from here, and I think that is going to be the closest to 200 miles away from Fort Collins, Colorado.
Wouldn't it be a shame if on the momentous 200th episode of the Baseball by Design podcast, if you did not answer the Studio Simon Stumper correctly?
You know, Dan, I just I go out there, I give 110%, and the good Lord willing, if we win, it said something.
Said just like Nuke LaLoosh. And he made it to the big leagues, and straight from single A ball, an unlikely leap there.
That's right.
But you made it to the big leagues by getting the 200th episode Stumper correct. You nailed it. So it was interesting because both the Rocky Mountain Vibes and the Grand Junction Jackalopes, now they're past tense, are both in the state of Colorado where you live, but you happen to live in the very northern part of Colorado. And so even though the Casper Spuds are in the state of Wyoming, north of you, it's closer to you than the Grand Junction Jackalopes. You are correct. The Grand Junction Jackalopes, it's a 305-mile drive.
Yep.
The Rocky Mountain Vibes, you mentioned closer to 100. It is. It's a 133-mile drive. And the Casper Spuds, who play at Mike Lansing Field, who played for the Colorado Rockies, if I'm not mistaken, is a 223-mile drive. Have you made that drive yet?
I have not gone there to see a game. I have driven through Casper many times. It seems like it's like right at the beginning of the drive out to Gonzaga, where my daughter is a senior right now. And so we have driven through there. And in fact, I remember one of the things that helped me answer this question was I remember coming back from Gonzaga, and it was late at night. It was like 11 o'clock at night. And I was really I was drowsy. It was not, it was time for me to stop driving. And I said, do you guys want to stop? It was me and my two daughters. And I said, do you guys want to stop and get a hotel? We're about 3 hours from home. And Olivia, who was a college student, was just like, no, I can drive. I will drive the last 3 hours. And I was like, oh, I'll ride shotgun and I'll stay awake to help keep you company. And then the next thing you know, we were pulling into our driveway and we were home. So yes, I remembered Casper because of that. I actually remembered being about 3 hours from home, and out here in the West, 200 miles is about a 3-hour drive. Grand Junction is almost to Utah out here. So if you're driving out to a Jackalopes game, you're almost to like Moab, basically, in Utah. And then, Colorado Springs, I always figure, Fort Collins, we're about an hour north of Denver. They're about an hour south of Denver, sort of a mirror image. I've done all those drives in various times, but the Casper Spuds are the only team on that list of 3 that I have not actually seen.
Okay. That's going to have to be added to your list.
Okay. Well, Dan, this has been a lot of fun, a little bit different exercise for us. Thank you for taking a good chunk of time out of your morning to record this episode. I am very appreciative of it. Congratulations to you, by the way. I should have mentioned it earlier, on the release of the Ontario Tower Buzzers. That was fun to see, and it got a great reaction out there, and enjoyed talking to you for my article on sportslogos.net about it.
Well, thank you, Paul, and congratulations on this milestone. 200 episodes is I was going to say it's a great achievement. Let's call it a fun achievement, because
Absolutely.
Your podcast is just fun.
It has been a fun ride for me, and it's been great to get to do it with you for these last now 140 episodes. Dan, thank you, and we'll see you next week for our regular old 201st episode.
Looking forward to the next 100.